All right, we are back. I think you should buy. This will probably be episode 14 or 15. I don't remember, but how are we doing, brother?
I don't know if I've ever felt this dialed before. I mean, we're on day 8, 75 hard.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm feeling great getting up at 5:30, feed the dogs, get some coffee, hit the gym, work. Yeah, dude. How you feeling?
dude, you're feeding the dogs and you're turning into a dog, dude. You've just
I'm an
been so,
absolute Yeah, dude. I'm a canine.
yeah, you've just been absolutely.
Yeah, dude. I'm honestly feeding myself a bowl in the morning.
You're feeding Nala and Norman, and you're just getting right down with it.
I get down on all fours and eat with them.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Yeah, I mean, same as you. We're day 8. Feeling dialed. Same thing. My alarm's been set to 5 a.m. every day. Because there was one day that I didn't, and I know you at least had a day like that too, where you don't get the workout in early, and then it's like afternoons creeping around, and you're like, oh, I have to do 2 workouts still.
You're screwed.
Yeah, so it's like imperative knocking one out early, otherwise it's kind of hanging over your head all day. So same thing, dude. And with the change of scenery, it's been waking up 5 a.m. to the beach. It's still like pitch black. Start running, sunrise has been pretty sick. So feeling dialed as well. I'm excited. It's like I feel like we've been doing this for a while, and you're like, dude, it's day 8.
I was thinking, because I was telling Bree, I'm like, yeah, I'm, seventh of the way done. And then it's not 70 days, it's 75. So I'm like, actually, I'm not even seventh done yet. So it goes by quick. I didn't even realize that you told me this, and it makes sense that you have to have the workouts 3 hours apart, which
Yeah,
I never like did them that close anyways, but I could see people wanting to be like, oh, I'm going to do my 45-minute workout at the gym and then immediately walk out and just go on a walk. Like not hitting the workout in the morning could be crucial because like for somebody that has a 9 to 5, you go to work at 9, then you have to work out right after, and you have to wait till I don't know what
yeah,
is that, like 10 or 11 o'clock.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that too because my jujitsu practices are typically like hour and a half, 2 hours. I was like, oh, I could just you know count that as 2, but
Yeah.
not allowed. So I'm really like on days I'm doing that, I'm getting like a 45 and then like 2 more 45s in. And yeah, I'm definitely feeling it, dude. I'm a little banged up right now, but feel
Yeah, I
good.
was gonna say the jujitsu probably is not ideal for 75 hard because it's longer than 45 minutes and you're just beating your body up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not, but
Duty calls.
can't go without it. But
It's What's
go ahead.
up? Hit me.
I was just gonna see how work is because we've talked a little bit before this, but haven't really talked about work.
Works good. Should have a contract coming through today for another first time home buyer. Getting some concession. They're going to get 3% in concession. So I think this will come out after the podcast we just shot last week where we talked a lot about that. But yeah, love to see it come out of pocket as little as possible in markets like this, be able to negotiate.
Yeah, I love that. I just got a couple contracts last week too, and same with one of my buyers. We're kind of leveraging the inspection into some seller credit. So went under contract without seller credits, but some things popped up on the inspection. So like kind of leveraging that. I'm like, hey, these things came up. So could we get, X amount? Should cover most of, if not all of closing costs, which is just awesome. And like we said last week, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I feel like we're kind of nearing the end of the market where we're going to be able to do that for buyers. So it's nice to be able to get these last few buyers in where we can really get them these deals.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I feel like at least I've been saying that for a while, and then it still continues. But we'll see. I also lost a deal, which I feel like I wanted to share because I think most of the time, as a consumer, just from an outside looking in, you don't you don't hear about or see the downside of what we do. And I had a guy that I worked with for I don't know 2 months
Mhm.
probably. And I'm talking when I say like in our job for like people that obviously aren't in real estate or in lending, like you're working with somebody just like a real estate agent for you could work with somebody as an agent for 90 days, 120 days, showing them homes, and you obviously don't get paid anything until they actually buy the house and close on it. So similar where late nights or over the weekend sending out estimates to somebody and then them getting down to submit and they're like, hey, we're actually going to use somebody else. It doesn't happen often, especially for people like you and I, because most of our clients we work with are going to be either friends, family, or sphere of influence. So people we already know that trust us, or it's they're referred by somebody that knows, likes, and trusts us. So they're not going to go look elsewhere because they want to work with you. But it was a scenario where that wasn't the case and lost it. So it's a bummer. But when that happens, I feel like it just, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it's like it just pisses me off and makes me want to work harder and go find two new deals to help people.
Yeah, it sucks so much too because, like you said, a lot of people don't realize. Like I've had clients where I've worked with for over 2 years before we closed on them. Like that's a long time to be working with someone, and you're working for free until that loan funds and they get in that house. You don't get paid a dime. So yeah, it's business isn't as there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes that I feel like people don't realize. And speaking of, I have a deal like that right now. One of the contracts that I have, we have a buyer, they're under contract on a home, but I know they're shopping with several other lenders. So, a lot of the like tech people or, engineers that are like really analytical and stuff, they'll, use one lender to get under contract and then they'll leverage that to go shop with 20 different lenders
Yeah.
and really kind of have everybody fighting each other for that business, which it's kind
I
of
was
a
gonna say
pain.
it's hard for me. It's hard for me to get behind it, and there's no right or wrong. To your point,
Yeah.
like you can do whatever you want. I think it's hard for me because I don't work that way. Like I would never do that. So when
Yeah.
somebody else does it to me, it's hard for me to relate on. And I want to preface this conversation with I'm not complaining, nor you are. Like it's everyone in sales goes through the same thing. It's all part of the fun. That's why most people get into sales because you have the opportunity to make whatever you work for. But I wanted to bring it up because, like I said, I think it's not talked about, or obviously with what we do, you don't really shine a light on that kind of that aspect of the business.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I agree. Like, and will even tell people sometimes they're like, like, hey, it's good to go maybe talk to a couple lenders before you kind of decide who you want to work with. Cause, there's a lot of differences between different lenders and, some people work nights and weekends and some people don't. And, you've got to find someone who fits your personality and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, it is when they use somebody to get under contract and have them do all the work and then be like, okay, now I'm going to go like that. That's
that's
the
not.
part where I'm like, okay, like you said, like I would never do that. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's part of the business. Like
You
it is
can
what it
do it.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So,
can
so
do it.
I'm going to do what I do with every client and try and fight for, get them the best, do the best job that I can and try and win the business. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's all I can do. And so, yeah, like you said, just gotta keep
Yeah.
grinding and, but
I'm just all transparency. Like to me, I would never be upset or get frustrated if somebody was like, "Hey, like just so that you are aware, I'm going to be reaching out to multiple other people." And then it's like, "Thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna work for you, and if I can help in any way, then I would love to earn your business." And that's really what it comes down to is transparency. But when it's not reciprocated, that's when it becomes frustrated. I get super annoyed because I'm like, "Come on, dude! Like." Providing a service just like you do at your job, you'd be just as frustrated. So just you need to have that level of respect. And then to finish my point, just goes back to in this case for that client, it's like when you don't have a ton, like I didn't get referred, they didn't get referred to me from someone that I worked with. So there's
yeah,
not that connection there. And they obviously we weren't friends, they didn't know me prior. So harder to earn that if there's no connection. You're just another voice on the other side of the phone, right? So it's all part of the fun, baby.
I know. But that's good though. I mean, it sounds like you've got, contract coming in. I've got a couple as well. And so the boys are continuing to chug along here, which is great. And I know like we kind of talked about like like the last 2 years. I was just listening to one of our regional meeting recordings, and Ali was saying that it was almost 1,000 days of that market that we were in, which is crazy to think about. Of once rates started to go up, and then it seemed like 2 years ago they're like, hey, May 10th or whatever it was, rates are going to come down, and then it was like, well, maybe next year, and then we're finally starting to actually see it. I can't remember how much we talked about this last week, so I don't want to go into it too much, but it's like, it's so good to, because I know we both kind of preach this, like, when you get into a market, when you're buying a home, it's good to get into a market where you have the leverage, which has been the last couple of years. The high rates obviously suck, but we've been preaching like that you get in, you get the good deal, and when rates drop, you just pick up the phone and you call your loan officer and refi. Like, it's pretty easy typically.
Right.
It's nice to see that finally like coming to fruition. Like the last 2 weeks, I've been going through to my clients that bought and got these fantastic deals. Like we talked about, like lender credits covered, their rate buy downs covered by seller, closing costs covered, all this stuff. Sorry, not lender credits, but seller credits rather. And they got these really good deals on prices. And then now we're going and I'm running them. I'm like, hey, we could drop you from a 7.75 down to a 6.75 already. And these refis are starting to make sense. And they're like, it actually worked. They got these super good deals. And then now they're getting to refi out of them. So after talking about it for so long, finally starting to see that happening has been super rad.
Yeah. Well, especially when you help them out and now everything that you told them that was going to come to fruition actually is. And they're like, yeah, thank God we pulled the trigger. Yeah. It's the same thing as, I'm not saying this is going to happen within the next couple of years or that it's going to be the same, but it's the same thing that happened in 17, 18, 19, leading into 2020. When rates dropped, prices went up. And then the people that bought before were able to not only watch their homes go up, double or triple in how much they bought it for, but then they even lowered their payment too. And that's why I had a little bit of an inventory problem because nobody wanted to sell when they got all this money they're sitting on and a $1,500 mortgage payment they're paying. So it's crazy. We'll see what happens kind of riding the year out. And I think next year will be super good for real estate.
Yeah, I agree. I'm super excited and very optimistic about the market. And it's kind of like you said too, like it's nice, especially when it's like friends and family, like which we do a lot of business with people that we know, and starting to send these emails out like, hey, like we talked about when you bought, we could start looking at a refi, save you 0.75%, 1%, or whatever it might be, because you're kind of putting your ass on the line a little bit, right? You're like, hey, this is, I think, going to be a really good opportunity to buy. And we think about this time, we should be able to, refi and get kind of the best of all the worlds. And it's nice to have them be able to be like, oh, okay, like these guys actually know what they're talking about. They're not. Yeah. And it gives you a little bit of credibility, which feels good too. And so it's, I'm super optimistic about the market here in the next year or two.
Yeah, I am too. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but only time will tell. And we still got 4.5 months left.
Yeah. So, I don't want to get into politics. This is about my least favorite topic, but a lot of people are like, hey, we're going to wait to see who gets into the office and all. And so it's going to be interesting to just see what happens with the markets.
Yeah. Well, you've been talking about like how much you're banking on Kamala to get in.
Yeah, true.
So we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah. That's like my.
Anything else to say on that? I know, like you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, no, it's just funny because we've been going back and forth. You've just been like posting all over Facebook, like all your MAGA agenda, and like just really, you've been really leaning into your Fox News. So,
oh God, dude, Fox News doesn't come off the TV at my house; it just stays on all day.
Dude, I know that you have Vincent. Just like that's what he wakes up to.
He's got he's a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Let's jump into buys. I got a good one. I'm going to start it off just because it's top of mind. So I was watching some kind of like business related video on YouTube, and somehow I got, they have like the related videos. They're not even related, but it's like suggested for your search. I got The Mask, like a clip from The Mask, that movie with Jim Carrey. Have you seen it?
You don't have to. Don't ask stupid questions.
My dad had that on DVD when I was a little kid, and I was obsessed with that movie. And
I know why you're obsessed with it.
Dude, Cameron Diaz isn't bad in the movie either, but
she's like a top 5 childhood crush from that movie.
Dude, so I found this out. I don't know how I know this, but I think that was her first movie. And the director, she had no acting experience, and the director just took a shot on casting her because no A-listers wanted to be in that movie, and they took a shot. That was like her blow up role. But my buy is just, dude, that movie is so good. Like I think I've watched it like 50 times when I was a kid, but my buy in general is just old comedy movies like that. Like I feel bad. I was thinking about it when I saw that. I'm like, dude, Vincent's not gonna know like what a good comedy movie is. Like they don't. Have you watched any comedy movies like in the last couple of years that you're like, dude, you have to see this?
No, because there is none.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I sound like an old head, but like I don't know if that's gonna be a thing. So
Well, you got to get him right and just show him all the classics,
yeah,
dude. Yeah, I mean, dude, The Mask was probably one of my most watched ones. Dodgeball, growing up was I know like we had like there were so many like the '90s and early 2000s for comedy movies was absurd, and then now
yeah.
there's just absolutely nothing.
Dude, Ben Stiller and Jim Carrey and Will
Will Ferrell,
Ferrell, those guys just like dominated for like a decade straight, and
yeah,
it's a shame they don't make them.
it is a shame, but no,
So
that's
that's my buy.
a great vibe, and one of the most popular memes of all time with his jaw drops and the tongue rolls out of the awooga. Dude,
Dude,
that
yeah, he just killed it. He no one else could have been like
no, you could say that of just about all of Jim Carrey movies. Is I don't think anyone. He's just such a unique
dude.
like
I
Ace.
think he's in my top three people. Like if somebody said you can meet three people in like that are alive, he would be in my top three. I think.
Yeah, like yours are like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and like Jim Carrey, like prime mask.
No, Kamala Harris. You forgot.
People aren't going to know we're being like sarcastic talking about
It's going
politics.
to be cool because nobody's going to know what side we're on. Or maybe we
Yeah,
don't have a side. So
yeah. I
up
genuinely,
to viewer discretion.
I genuinely don't have a side because I just don't. I'm
I know what you're doing, dude.
so true.
Wait.
I'm a
All right,
big,
let's move on.
I'm a big RFK Jr. guy. He's my buy of the week, actually.
He is RFK's.
Yeah. No, my buy of the week. Shoot, I just had it, dude. I'm blanking right now. This is devastating,
There's too much Kamala talk.
dude. I know, dude. Honestly, my buy of the week is The Office.
I almost said that because of the fear.
Shout out Threat Level Midnight. I just, dude, honestly, an Instagram ad got me like with this shirt like a year ago. And dude, I don't know. That's like my speaking of The Mask, like good comedies. Like this show, I don't think The Office could be made today. Like it's honestly for like a network TV show. They take some chances, but
Yeah.
that show just like got me through college. I remember like freshman year actually when we were dorming together. It was the first time I ever watched it. I never saw it when it was actually on, and I binged it in like a month or two. And there's like 7+ or like I feel like there's like 9 seasons or something.
Yeah, it's
Um, and I've seen it probably 7 times all the way through. It just was like a background show for me in college. Like, not like it got me through college because it's not like I was having like a super hard
yeah,
time,
I wouldn't have graduated without The Office.
but it was just like my comfort show. Like you just throw it on in the background, it's just immaculate vibes. And I just saw the reflection of
Yeah,
Michael Scott.
it's literally like what CNN is for you now.
You're unreal.
Dude, I'm pissed. My buy should have been Suits because that's what I've just been binging like crazy lately. But that is a good buy. The Office is a top tier.
It's a
You
lot.
can't. It's unreplicable.
Yeah,
Keep it.
100%.
Uh, I
Starts off with
sell insects, bugs in Arizona, dude. It's terrible. We just had people come out and spray a month ago, and like for like 2 weeks straight, we had dead bugs lining all around like just the border of our house, inside the house. It's like
yeah,
it's kind of ridiculous. And then we asked them like, "Hey, what can we do for ants in the backyard and stuff?" And they're like, "Nothing. You live on like a mountain. You just it's part of it." So
yeah.
kind of sucks, but it's extra protein for Vincent if he gets his hands on it. So
Hey, that's so true. My cell is just all the BS that comes with moving. We've still just been like, I swear, like every day, there's like, okay, yesterday we checked 5 things off the list. Okay, now today there's another 5 things. And then you feel like, okay, now we're moved in. And then you're like, oh, we don't have a strainer. Or like last night, I was meal prepping my spaghetti for the week, which is one of my go-tos. That could be a buy of the week. Just such a fire meal prep. But
we're like,
then I cook like this huge thing of pasta noodles, and and I'm like, we don't have a freaking strainer. Like, there's just, and then tomorrow it's going to be
yeah,
something else. Like,
it's never gonna end.
Yeah, but so that we're finally getting to the end of it, getting pretty dialed, but just been cleaning nonstop because I'm just like super OCD, like about cleaning, and I just like so even though this place got deep cleaned, it wasn't to my standard. So then like mopping and then wiping the base, like just all the stuff that kind of gets left over. But I mean we're finally there, but it's been a little bit of a
You'll get there. I mean, you just got there, so you got time.
say that. But
All right, dude. Let's wrap it up. It was a pleasure, and thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your viewership. If you haven't already, subscribe. Takes 2 seconds, gives you an update for when we post. And as always, give us some recs in the comments, and we'll see you next week.
honestly, in the comments, tell us your favorite East or early 2000s comedy
Yeah,
movie
actually,
while you're at it.
drop
All
it.
right. We'll see you guys. Appreciate it.